there'd be a lot of poop in my pants. I've seen a 6-foot alligator go swinging through the air and slam into a tree.
These guys are the scientists of the supernatural, lecturers leaving lessons for inquiring laymen. They are applying the scientific method to a world that baffles science. They are the cryptids of the corn.
But who else has big black wings and red eyes?
Batman.
Oh, Mothman.
Oh yeah, Mothman.
A great white shark was stolen.
Oh, someone stole a shark?
I got stuff for you don't even know about.
She's a witch. She turned me into a newt.
Who knows? Anything could be possible.
It's really big abduction vibes.
Holy moly.
It sounds like you were abducted.
And it just stood up. I mean, it just like kept going and going. And she goes, what the?
Welcome back to Cryptids of the Corn podcast. I am the great and powerful Mr. E.
And I am a Joyous J today.
What number?
Joyous J number 12.
Makes
Old
me
model.
laugh. Old. No, so this is a Wednesday episode. So we're not going to do too much front of house stuff because you already got that for the week. But remember, go follow us on YouTube, social medias, all that stuff.
Patreon if you're so inclined.
If you're so inclined. But so this is a listener submission kind of episode. We'll get to him in a little bit, but he had a short story, so I kind of built a whole episode around it. But remember, so Wednesdays are either for interviews or kind of these shorter episodes. We don't know if it'll be shorter or not. This may still be an hour long.
Watch, yeah, it'll be like
But
2 hour.
less. Yeah. So we're going to do the Hyenas of Kentucky.
Kentucky hyenas?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is kind of a weird one. It may sound weird off the front, but remember when we did Dogman episodes and stuff like that, and we talked about hyenas seen in Michigan.
Right.
So hyenas have been seen almost in every state of the continental U.S.
And that's recorded?
Yeah, in the
Okay.
last like 25 years.
25?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there's hyenas present, specifically the spotted hyena.
In Kansas? Illinois?
Yes.
Vermont?
Yes.
This is insane. Rhode Island?
Yeah.
No.
It just reminds me of that old lady eating the dog biscuits.
No.
No. It's like when the supervillain gets defeated. No.
Yeah. No. And,
Sounds like Palpatine.
Yeah, that's what I was doing, yeah.
But specifically, we're going to talk about Lexington here in a little bit.
A lot of weird stuff there.
Yeah, specifically hyenas being seen a lot. So Sean sent me his clip, which we'll play here in a bit for you. We're going to end with that as far as the sightings go. But I looked into it, and he said there was another one around the same time.
Another sighting?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I looked into it, and he was wrong.
Okay.
There were a lot more than one at the same time.
So he was right in a sense, but he was wrong in the scope of it. Gotcha.
But no, I'm just picking at Sean. No, there's around Lexington. There's been a lot of hyena sightings in Kentucky and Lexington specifically.
Huh. Who would have thought?
I didn't. I knew they were there, like especially. Yeah. But diving in, it's like you have to be really specific in your search area. If you type in lost hyenas in Appalachia, nothing comes up.
Okay.
Now, if you go to Vernon County, West Virginia, hyena, you'll get a story pop up.
Interesting. Okay.
So it's really weird how the search engines are kind of like diverting you from it.
Right, yeah, that is strange.
But it's because hyenas are a really popular search animal, I guess. So you get a lot of articles about just hyenas.
How close are they related to coyotes?
Not.
They're not at all?
So that's a big misconception, which we will talk about in a little bit.
Okay.
But hyenas are almost not related to canids at all. If you
really?
If you had to pick an animal in North America they're more closely related to, it'd be cats.
Really?
Yes.
I was thinking more like, if anything, like foxes or something.
No.
Or raccoons, maybe.
Cats.
Even. Cats?
Yeah, especially in North America, their closest living relative is the big cat family.
How is that possible?
What do you mean?
Like, they look like dogs.
Convergent evolution.
Huh. But they have like snouts and things.
So do cats.
They do? Well, I guess they do, but I don't think of it like...
They're not cats. I'm not saying they're cats.
But they're related.
You asked if they're related to coyotes, and they're not. They're related to
They're
cats.
closer to cats. That's so weird.
And they're not very close related to cats either.
Yeah, they're just closer than
They're
dogs.
close, a lot closer than dogs. They are almost they are really, really distant from dogs.
Huh. Okay.
And it comes from, and we'll talk about Ice Age mammals and stuff before the Ice Age, like hyenodonts and stuff like that.
Okay.
But so we're going to talk about Bert Nunley. He's a researcher in Kentucky. He has reported a couple cases of hyenas in Kentucky. One was near Uniontown, and the other was spotted, no pun intended, near Lexington. Because spotted hyenas.
Oh, I get it. I was like, how's Lexington a pun? Oh, spotted.
So here's the Lexington encounter. About 10 feet in front of my car, on the grassy area next to the expressway, we saw a strange creature. It looked like a hyena with bluish-gray fur with black spots and splotches. It was crouched down as if it was going to pounce. As our car passed, it looked over at us. Its face had a snout and long teeth. It bared its teeth at us. We were so shocked we just drove on. I can't imagine what it was. It was about 3 foot tall at the shoulder and was sloping back towards the haunches. It had a head that was big. Its fur was fringy along the back. 100% a hyena description.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not sure what they say. I can't imagine what it was. If you just go through what they're saying, it looks just like a hyena, but that's okay. But yeah, so this is kind of the story that kind of goes around a lot. And it was seen around that highway, not by just his family, but by several other people reported a large canid-like creature. Mm-hmm. People were worried the zoo, like the Lexington...
lost something. Yeah. Or someone's dog got out, like...
And so, this is not the Michigan episode, this is the Kentucky episode, but the one around Detroit, there's a hyena seen constantly about 2 or 3 times a year outside of Detroit.
Interesting.
And every time it gets seen by a couple people, they call the zoo. Hey, your hyena's out.
Yeah.
Hey, and hyenas are nothing to mess with.
I wouldn't want to.
People get this idea that hyenas are pansies because of movies like The Lion King, and you see them in Discovery Channel getting a hyena getting its butt whipped by a lion.
Yeah.
You're talking about a 500-pound cat and a 250-pound hyena.
Yeah.
That hyena has the bite force of a hyena is so much stronger than a big cat. They literally will crunch right through bones because they eat a lot of bone scraps.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, Lion King made me scared of them. Like, they pack up on you.
Oh, that's like they are the number one predator of lions in Africa.
Yeah, I was gonna say they hunt lions.
Now lions are also their number one predator. So
it's a battle for supremacy.
Always.
Yeah.
And then when we'll get to a part, we'll talk about hyena biology. You know, we're gonna have you turn down if you're in the car with your kids, we're gonna have you turn that down.
Ew, okay. Oh, I know I already know.
So yeah. So there were also two 2019 posts by Jeff and Claude's blog speculate about wolf sightings in the area. Wolves are increasingly common again in Kentucky, which they're not documented in Kentucky yet, but I agree with what they're saying. They've been seen in Kentucky. Mm-hmm. So they think that sometimes these hyenas or these wolves are being mistaken for hyenas. They're not.
You don't think so?
No, they don't look anything alike.
Yeah, it's just to a biologist.
No, they do not look anything alike. Hyenas' front legs are so much longer than their back legs.
Yeah.
They always have sloping backs. They have this big, like, horse-like mane. They have short heads. They're very tall and short.
But I mean someone that, like, never, I guess, sees a wolf or a hyena. You know, I could see them in their car and they just, drive by and they see...
They do not...
But I could see someone making a mistake.
The skulls are completely different.
I know, but I'm saying I could see someone making that mistake for, it just looks like a big dog. It must be a wolf, and if you see it real fast, it's scary. I could see people making that mistake still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it possible that hyenas could have escaped and entered the environment, escaping zoos and private breeders and such?
Oh, yeah.
And this could also explain the great amount of kangaroo sightings in Kentucky and Ohio. So we just talked about in a previous episode that wallabies, an Australian animal, are now taking up residence in 3 different countries, including the UK.
That's funny.
There's a whole breeding population, 2 separate breeding populations in the UK of wallabies. Keep in mind, this is you think of Australia and think of the UK, very different environments. The wallabies are doing just fine.
Right, yeah.
So this got posted. So that was just kind of short. And somebody just said, "Hey, has anybody else had this encounter?" So this got posted. This article got posted on Reddit and said, "Hey, has anybody else had this similar encounter?" So several people posted back that they have. So yeah, they just one person said they saw an episode on Mystery Quest where they explained the beast of Javaudan in France was most likely a striped hyena.
Okay.
And we have a beast of Javaudan episode coming out eventually.
Yeah.
But here's one story. In 2006, my father and I were out on an evening drive a few miles from his country home. Along the road we had driven off on Highway 68 in Mercer County, we witnessed an animal that looked exactly like a hyena. It was almost dark. The sun was still visible towards the west, and suddenly something darted across the road. My dad slowed the car and allowed the animal the opportunity to cross the path. I was sitting in the passenger side. As the animal crossed the road, he slowed down, briefly stopped, and turned back to look at us. At this time, our car was moving at a crawl. The animal was only 3 feet in front of me, and both of us got a very good look at each other. The animal was spotted like a leopard and was quite tall. The animal's snout had me puzzled. It didn't resemble any domestic dog or cat. My father, 70 years old, said, "What is that?" But neither of us could identify it. When I returned home, I spent several hours in the evening researching Kentucky mammals, trying to figure out what resembled the strange creature we saw. After a few weeks later, I saw a hyena on TV. I called my dad and told him I had found out what it was.
I'm looking at a spotted hyena right now.
Yeah, they do not look like wolves.
Yeah.
They do not.
I know.
That's like saying a bear looks like a wolf.
I was more interested in the snout, like he said. Wasn't like a cat or
It's
dog.
not like a cat. It's not like a dog.
Yeah, it's not. So that is interesting. It does
They
fit.
almost look like a tall bear.
Yeah, they kind of do resemble bear heads. Yeah. So I'm seeing this. It is spotted like a leopard, though.
Yeah, they're called spotted hyenas.
Yeah.
And it's very important why we keep talking about the spotted hyena for later.
Okay.
Okay, so ready for the next one?
Yeah.
And these are all pretty short. Recently, my brother and I had seen a very strange, large dog-like thing. It had a more narrow snout than anything I've ever seen before. It was large and black. It moved quickly. And that's also what my brother claims. I went outside because I noticed footprints where we had seen it. They were extremely large, almost like the size of a full-grown man's foot. Only then had a distant canid shape. I also heard a rustle in the bushes, which prompted me to go back inside. Once inside, I saw the hind legs of something large and black. I managed to get a picture of the prints. If anyone can explain to me, and they give their contact information. And this was in Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay.
So she kind of describing like a bear-like creature. And that's what I think more of when you say a hyena is like a tall bear. So hyenas have an extremely unique body shape because their front legs are so much longer than the back legs.
Right, yep. I mean, I see them like a little bear. I can see that.
They're not little.
Well, I mean, in comparison to a bear.
They are bigger than most black bears.
Hyenas?
Yes. See?
Hold
you have
on.
the Lion King thing stuck in your head. We'll talk about hyena size here in a bit.
I'm looking. I looked up. I'm looking at pictures of hyenas, and this popped up.
Yeah.
So we're gonna cover that later, but it's just made me giggle.
All right. So here's one from West Virginia.
Okay.
My grandson and I were driving on Frame Road in Elkview, West Virginia, and saw an animal in the field. I told my grandson to look, and I slowed down. The shoulder facing us was brownish tan, and his fur also had black in it. I'm 6 years old, and I lived here all my life in the mountains, and I've seen dozens of types of wild animal. We went home to try to find the match for what we saw. The closest thing we found was a hyena. P.S. I've seen coyotes. I've seen coyote wolf dogs. I've seen wolves. So, yeah.
So they can't. I still blows my mind that they look like this, but they still can't breed with like coyotes and stuff.
They are not related whatsoever.
I know.
So let's get to Sean's encounter. So this is the one that kind of prompted this whole topic.
Hey, my name is Sean, and this is a story from December of 2003. I was traveling with my family to Lexington, Kentucky to visit my uncle for Christmas. It was probably just a day or so before Christmas Eve, and it was snowing outside. We were traveling between Winchester, Kentucky and Lexington, Kentucky in an area that was mostly horse farms. And when we stopped at a stop sign, I looked out the window from the back seat, there was a pine tree, and next to the pine tree, there was an animal that appeared to be a African spotted hyena. I only got to see it for a split second because it was a stop sign and my mother drove on, and then I lost sight of it from behind the pine tree. But it looked identical to a hyena, and I was only about 10 to 15 feet away from it. Later on, in the past few years, there was talk in online groups about people seeing hyenas in Appalachia, and I Googled it and found other sightings from January of 2004 around Lexington, so that would have been just a few weeks after my sighting.
Interesting.
So,
Good story. Thank you, Sean.
thank you, Sean. So, people are seeing this every it's constant. Like, people are seeing this. So he's talking about 2004. I said September 2004, 2010, 2014. Just in Lexington, Kentucky.
Right, that one local area.
Let alone, like, Michigan has constant. Wisconsin has constant. Ohio has a couple.
I'm sure Tennessee has them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we do. It's very weird. So let's talk about, everybody says spotted hyena, though. Spotted hyena pops up constantly. It's because when you type in hyena, you go through, there's only 5-ish species.
Mm-hmm.
And the spotted hyena is the biggest and the most prominently colored.
Right, it kind of stands out.
Very unique in color. So, adult hyenas, on average, for this species, measure 63 inches or 65 inches in length and 3 foot tall at the shoulder. Some of the bigger ones, like the Senegal spotted hyenas, are, let's see, where was I? They can weigh up to 121 pounds for females, and 121 pounds for males, and 141 pounds for females.
Mm-hmm.
Zimbabwe, though, tend to have a lot heavier ones, where females have been recorded up to over 150 pounds, and males have been recorded right at 150 pounds. There are some extremely large weights being recorded at between 180 and 210 pounds.
Okay, that's a big creature.
But the extinct subspecies of the Eurasian spotted hyena population got to be 250 pounds.
That's a big boy.
Now, I want you to listen to what I just said very carefully.
Okay.
The extinct subspecies of spotted hyenas. Spotted hyenas are not just native to Africa.
Okay.
They're native all the way up to almost Scandinavia.
Okay. So that's a good swath of land.
But you think, no, I'm talking about climate.
Oh, gotcha.
And they get heavier the further away from the equator they go, and that's almost all mammals.
That makes sense. Yeah, exactly.
There's a few exceptions, the African elephants, but even their prehistoric counterparts got bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So, hyenas. I have a little quote from a hyena biologist. Hyenas are widespread and found in almost all habitats. Spotted hyenas specifically are found in all habitats, including savannas, grassland, woodland, forest edge, subdeserts, and even mountaintops up to 4,500 meters above sea level.
Oh, okay. That's quite the biome range.
They have been found in almost tundra-like conditions in the hottest deserts. Hyenas are one of the most adaptable mammals on the planet. They are a part of a specialized group that include humans and rats.
What's that supposed to mean?
Of being able to adapt to every climate.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
If you throw a rat in the jungle in South America, you throw a rat in the tundra, most likely it's going to survive if it doesn't get eaten immediately.
Right, yeah.
Humans are about the same. Hyenas are right there too.
Who would have thought?
They're highly adaptable mammals.
Yeah.
Hyenas also have one of the strongest recorded bite forces.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that earlier.
Bone crackers.
Yeah.
They literally have seen them cracking elephant bones and stuff like that.
Good Lord.
So we'll talk about spotted hyena biology in a little bit.
Yeah.
But they were native up until, some people speculate, the 1700s in Asia. Asia, Europe.
Okay, in Europe, okay.
Because they were in Asia too, but that's the Eurasian subpopulation.
Right, right.
They were very common in Europe.
Okay.
And that's when we do our Beast of Java Dawn episode, hint, wink, nudge, nudge, that's probably who did it. It was one of the last spotted hyenas.
Still there, yeah. But what about America? Were they native here?
Let's hold on to that.
Okay.
Let's talk about the pet hyena, though.
I'm holding.
So what I'm trying to get at is spotted hyenas can survive these habitats that we're talking about
Right.
pretty comfortably.
Right.
Another thing that people don't get because of the movies and the documentaries is hyenas are one of the smartest and can be very shy predators.
Okay.
Especially if they're not in their big, when you see them on TV, you see them in their big pack formations because that's the coolest thing to record.
Right.
There are smaller groups of hyenas, and those smaller group of hyenas almost exclusively hide because they're dealing with African lions, they're dealing with leopards, they're dealing with other predators that want to take them out to get rid of the competition.
Right.
So these smaller groups, even sometimes single animals, will hide. And there's a species that we may have talked about eventually called the Nundy bear in Africa,
Okay.
which is brain eater.
Ooh.
It's a grizzly bear-sized single creature in Africa that's still being seen to this day that some scientists speculate is a giant species of hyena.
Okay.
But, so spotted hyenas can live in all these climates. What if they are exotic pets? So hyenas have been coming here since the 1700s on boats.
Right.
So if they can survive here, and they're pretty shy, what if they're just getting out?
And if they do, I mean, yeah, if they get out, they're going to be able to take hold of the whatever environment they're
Yes,
in.
that's the point I'm getting at.
Right.
So hyenas are considered exotic animals. Right now in the U.S., the states you can legally own a hyena in are Alabama, Arkansas, Nevada, North Carolina, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Wisconsin.
Of course, Wisconsin.
Michigan was just on the list 4 years ago.
Oh, they're off now?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I wonder why.
Hyenas getting out?
No, so give me a second.
Okay.
Ohio was on the list till Zanesville.
Makes
Self-explanatory.
sense. Makes sense.
But no, several states in the last decade have removed hyenas off their exotic animal act.
Mm-hmm.
So now, this list was huge 5 to 7 years ago.
Did they just realize, these guys can take hold here? Maybe.
So here's kind of the weird thing, though. Out of these states I've listed, in the states that have recently removed hyenas from their list, there have never been a reported escaping of any of these states from these animals. And there's never been a reported missing hyena.
Okay. Oh, wait. Okay. But we know they have escaped. We know they're just not reported? Is that what you're getting at?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's twofold. Is that the person that has a hyena getting out is at legal penalty.
Okay.
For any damages, anything that creature can cause.
Okay.
So they may not, the people that own the hyena may just report it dead.
Yeah.
Because some of these with permits and stuff like that, you have to report when the animal dies and stuff like that.
Dead, we already burnt the body,
No,
we buried it, buried
whatever.
its ashes, it's gone.
Which is fine. That's legal.
Yeah.
So if your hyena gets out and that. The other thing is if you report it to your state, the state may keep it covered up because they don't want you to know, there's a hyena running around
Right.
that is capable of surviving in your environment.
Yeah. Everyone would keep their dogs inside for the time being.
Another weird thing. So let's go back over 100 years ago in the U.S.
Okay.
Hyenas were extremely common household pets.
Really? Household? What do you mean?
You could buy a hyena cub from an exotic pet store.
Wow.
They were so common, U.S. president had one in the White House as a lapdog.
Really? Which one?
I'll give you one guess.
No, not FDR. Teddy.
Teddy. Theodore Roosevelt
Yeah.
had a pet hyena, a pet spotted hyena that he had since a cub in the White House. His name was Bill.
I gotta Google this now. I just gotta see it. Bill the hyena.
Bill the hyena, Teddy Roosevelt's personal pet hyena, and he would put you in the room with it and see how you reacted.
Oh, why don't we have presidents like this anymore?
Bill was one of the biggest, if you believe the scales at the time, Bill died at 215 pounds.
Jeez.
The size of a pretty good sized black bear.
Here's a cool. Bill was a gift to President Roosevelt from Emperor Menelik II of Ethiopia.
There you go.
So straight from Ethiopia. That's one of the big ones.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So, hyenas, in this time frame, it was not uncommon for a hyena to be in pretty much every medium-sized town probably had a hyena in it.
Well, that's kind of makes sense now.
And there were people starting to breed them in the U.S. at this time.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay. And okay, so let's say it was very common. Now, obviously, it's not. What happened to all of them? Uh-oh.
So the ABCs of England, for example, the alien black cats.
Yes.
There's panthers, there's black cats, there's yellow cats seen in England. They don't have big cats. They don't have native big cats.
Right.
In the 1970s, the same thing happened in the U.S. in the 60s. And the 1970s was the first rollout of exotic animal laws. And Europe were extremely strict and had heavy, heavy penalties.
Okay.
Even to give up your animals costed an arm and a leg.
Oh, people were just letting them go.
So in Europe, what they did is they just opened all the cages
Yeah.
and let them go.
So now, was that
In the U.S., similar things happened.
an intended consequence, or did they?
No, the
they just
government,
didn't
firstly
think
in
ahead?
the UK, they wanted to tax the hell out of everything. They do
Right.
that to everything for them everywhere.
Right.
So they wanted them to give up their animals, but they wanted them to pay to give up their animals. So we
Right.
got to ship them to somewhere, is what the government is saying. Like, we're going to take your animals from you, but you have to pay for us to ship them back to wherever they're taking it.
Didn't
They're
they
like-
know people were
they're
just
like,
gonna?
oh, okay, here you go, Ted. Go run and chase those red deer.
Were they? Yeah, yeah. I mean, were they expecting people to actually just give it up and pay them, or
Yes.
were they expecting people to kill them all?
No, they were expecting people to pay them.
That dumb.
Because they went through before they made the laws, because they took a really heavy list of who all had big cats
surveys
for
and stuff.
years
Yeah.
before they pushed this law, because they wanted to know exactly who had cats.
They had every
And then they
Tiger
went
King
there,
on the list.
yeah, and they went there and they're like, we ain't got no cats.
Yeah, they're dead.
But Mark down the road keeps seeing a big black panther running
Right,
through
yeah.
his wheat fields.
Yeah.
Wonder why.
Carol Baskins. She.
We'll do a Tiger King episode one day.
Okay.
But that's the same thing happened in the U.S.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. I believe that. Well, after we just heard the stories of.
But it's weird to think about, because like nobody has hyenas, right? Everybody knows big cats.
Okay.
But people had more hyenas than big cats in the U.S. at one time.
I mean, the president had one. The president had one in the White House.
Yeah, he would walk it outside to go do his business on the front lawn.
That's insane.
You imagine seeing that man? The man would commonly box his Secretary of War,
Yeah.
and then he's walking a 215-pound hyena to go poop on the front lawn.
Was it a full-on grown?
Oh, he had it forever.
Really?
He had it till it died of old age, and they lived to be about 20.
Dang. Okay.
He took it on trips with him.
That's insane. That's insane.
Yeah, you imagine Teddy going bear hunting, and his tracking dog's a hyena.
Hyena. That'd be. I'm surprised you don't have like his own comic book made after him, or some sort of.
All comic books are made after him.
Or like that movie that Abe Lincoln, like Vampire Hunter or something like that.
Yeah.
Why is there not like the Teddy Roosevelt like exotic like
'Cause
cryptid
that's
hunter?
a documentary.
Like cryptid hunter. Yeah. Like I don't know why they haven't made an animated series of him going out hunting.
Hunting the Stanley Gaster with his pet hyena.
Hyena. It's
That
just-
happened.
yeah, exactly.
Did you think, before we start doing this, a U.S. president left campaigning to hunt a yellow dragon with his pet hyena?
American history.
That happened.
Why is
people? That happened.
Why is this not in our
Ask your history
books?
teacher if you're young enough, and he'll tell you no, that didn't happen, and you can be like, yeah, it did. Google it.
Right. Google it. Yeah. You literally could Google it.
It pops up if you type in Teddy Roosevelt hunted Stanley Gaster. Yeah, he did. Teddy Roosevelt pet hyena.
Yeah, he did.
His name's Bill.
Bill. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a lot of stuff right there. There's a lot of reasons right there why hyenas could be existing.
Yeah.
And their biology supports this. They're very capable of surviving in very, very cold climates.
Yep. Adaptable. So they can survive any
They can
season.
be extremely secretive too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So the big packs of hyenas in Africa are what are known, like when they come out and they show off and stuff like that. It's because there's 50 of them.
Right. Yeah. They don't care. But I imagine if they're in like forested areas or heavily wooded areas, they're going to be in lower numbers and they're going to be more
They
secretive
may
and
even be
ambushy.
single, and then just pairing up to breed.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Like they just might.
Because they have more. Their reproductive style is very unique because they're not dogs, they're not cats. But if you had to look at it, it's more on the feline aspect where they kind of raise them in a pride.
Gotcha.
Everybody kind of watches everybody's cubs.
Yeah, I could see that. And they're not hunting big cats. Here they'd be hunting just like they'd be ambush predators, getting things smaller than I may imagine.
I mean, they are very capable of killing. I think so. We're going to do an episode eventually on the bear killer of West Virginia.
Okay.
And it's a bear-like creature. Wild Bill, our good buddy, like that's his one he hates the most. Is because it kills juvenile and baby black bears. And
Okay.
they have crushed skulls.
Yeah.
Spotted hyenas specifically crush the skulls of their prey. They bite at the base of the skull and crush. That's how they kill humans.
Yeah.
When we get to the Beast of Jovadon, that's how the Beast of Jovadon killed humans.
Mm.
It's biting the back of the skull off.
Yeah. Dang, okay.
I think it's a hyena.
It might be, yeah. It might be President Roosevelt's.
No, Bill's dead. Bill died in the White House, I'm sure. Bill's probably buried in the White House.
They probably took like his genes and stuff and are recloning him into super dogs and
They're
stuff.
hybridizing Bill and Teddy.
Yeah, together.
That's Dogman.
Oh, we just figured something out here. Hyena Dogman.
Which is a type of Dogman being seen.
We're on to something here. It's Teddy.
All right. So that's a pretty good reason why hyenas could be here in the U.S., right?
Oh, yeah. It's reasonable.
What if I told you that there was an even more reasonable one?
Okay.
Spotted hyenas are native to the U.S.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. I was holding on to that earlier. Now we can
I
let
know.
it go.
You almost ruined it for me. That's my big that's my big hook. Spotted hyenas
They've been here?
only went extinct 500,000 years ago.
Really?
In the U.S.
Okay.
They were native from the west to the east, from northern Canada to Mexico. The spotted hyena was here.
The Shenandoah River?
The Shenandoah River. So it wasn't an actual spotted hyena. It was a very close cousin.
Right.
But superficially, we think they were very similar. The first findings of these guys were in 1904.
I mean, different phenotypes.
And paleontologists found these mammal bones that were all broken up and stuff like that. And they're like, what's going on? And they actually found an ancient hyena den.
Ah, nice. Okay.
But these guys weren't even, they've barely been described till really recently.
Is there any, Native American stories?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
Weird bears. They describe them as weird bears.
Yeah.
There's this whole tied Native American legend about these bears that seem to stand up taller.
Yeah.
And it's because of the hyena's front legs are a lot longer than its back legs. They're not distance predators.
Do hyenas ever stand up on their back legs?
I've seen a couple videos of it. It's not extremely often, but
I was thinking,
that could be a
prairie
specialty.
dogs?
That could be a specialty trait for living in forest.
Yeah.
All the hyenas that we have in the world that are native to forest land are probably extirpated, so they've been wiped out by humans.
Right.
So that could be a forest trait to look up over stuff.
Yeah, I could see that. Looking over the bramble bush. I just wanted to say that.
Looking over the bramble bush. So
That's the name of our third album.
looking over the bramble bush. Spotted hyenas, or a close cousin, are native to the U.S. They're native to all of Appalachia. They're native to Kentucky. They're native to Utah. That's most of their bones are found out west, but they have been found in Appalachia and in Ohio.
Okay. So they're here. They've been here.
Hyenas
They have a history.
survived all the way up until what we think they went extinct 500,000 years ago, but that's just when we stopped finding bones.
Yeah.
Their prey didn't disappear. What we kind of think is so there was actually a lions, North American lions, and North American cheetahs.
Right. That's true.
The biggest cheetah species to ever exist was here in North America.
Which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, hyenas are native to the U.S. Spotted hyenas are native to the U.S.
So they were.
Sean, I'm hoping this is blowing your mind because it's blowing my mind after I did the research.
Yeah. It's kind of blown mine too. Just I guess from all the media we do see, I just don't imagine hyena even in a wooded area at all. I can't. It's hard to picture in my mind.
Yeah, it's
Just
because
being natural.
Yeah, because we picture them as savanna animals,
Exactly.
desert animals.
In big packs, hunting.
That's a very
Antelope
select
and-
group of the population.
Yeah. Interesting.
They were native all the way up to Scandinavia in Europe.
Which is kind of cool to think about. I just want to see
But
Teddy Roosevelt.
here's the thing with the colder variants. Another thing I did forget to mention earlier is they were almost always in singles or pairs.
Ah, okay. Probably the nutrients. They didn't have the nutrients, to.
Yeah, to sustain these big hunts. So here in North
Yeah.
America, we think they were the number one predator of woolly mammoth calves.
Oh, okay.
And we think it's kind of the pack tactic of dragging them down.
Right, yeah. You have to be.
Just distracted mom and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because stuff like cave lions were singular. So when we look at a lot of the pack animals or pride animals from Africa that were here in North America at the time, they lost the pack structure.
Yeah.
Most of them didn't have the pack structure. Lions got a hell of a lot bigger, but they didn't have packs. We barely think they had family units. Same with some of the wild dogs and stuff like that. They kind of lost that sense. We kind of think hyenas still kept it. for the most part. But the colder climate hyenas were almost always in Europe reported as singles. So there's cave paintings of hyenas in England.
Oh, okay. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I can't remember. Do you remember the famous cave paintings from England?
Oh, gosh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Probably if I've seen it.
But they had like Bustaurus and stuff like that, which is the ancient cow and stuff like that. But they had hyenas painted on the walls with them.
That's kind of cool.
And then people are like, why are they painting spotted hyenas? Like, were they traveling up from Africa or whatever? No, there's a hyena outside the cave.
Yeah, it's literally here. Yeah. Are there any here, like paintings here in North America?
North America doesn't have a lot of cave paintings. Think about it. When have we heard of a cave painting in North America? They almost all come from Europe and Russia.
Yeah. Well, I guess, I don't know, like trying to think southwest U.S. maybe. I don't know. Desert paintings.
They report hyenas in some stories. They describe them as these spotted bears and stuff like that.
Any petroglyphs? Any, what are those, the big lines out in the desert?
The
Nazca lines.
I don't think there's a hyena in that group.
Oh, okay. Wouldn't that be nuts? Mm-hmm. It's like spotted hyena. Like, no, it's a bear. That's my native impression. Speaking English.
I mean, what else would you call it? They are bears. They look like bears.
They do.
They're made to bears.
Yeah. Are they related to bears at all?
No, hyenas are their own thing.
Right, yeah.
So that's kind of the hard thing is that there's plenty of groups of animals that are extinct.
Right.
It's like when people ask, are dinosaurs reptiles or birds? They're not. They're dinosaurs. They're a separate group.
Synapsids.
That's a whole separate group.
Oh, okay.
But that is still, it's just these groups of animals that aren't related to anything else.
Huh. It's weird when you try to put that stuff together when it's so different. You think everything's related somehow.
Technically, they are when you go far enough back.
Right, but you know what I'm saying. Like, obviously, cats and dogs are different. But when you look at, like, coyotes, okay, as a dog.
I mean, look at how many mammals have canids.
Right, exactly.
Teeth.
Yeah.
Even horses.
Yeah. And, like, raccoons are their own thing. Bears aren't they, like, their own thing? Mm-hmm. Now freaking...
So there was bear dogs.
Bear dogs?
That was a really early group of very scary mammals.
Sounds scary, but very cool.
No, if they were still around, we'd be extinct.
Wolf bears, like me. That's where my family gets their name. Wolf bears,
but there was actually, I think there were, so there's things called hyenodonts, which were not hyenas, but they were another group of mammals that had so many biological convergent evolution.
Similar body plans or whatnot.
But they were massive.
Yeah, ooh.
You remember Paraceratherium?
Yeah.
That's what was eating their babies.
Oh, okay. Oh, geez, okay. That'd be scary. It's time
Keep
for
mind,
scary
Paraceratheriums are the size of, babies are the size of, a small African elephant.
Yeah. Jeez.
And these things are ripping the guts out of them.
Yeah. Screw that.
So, before we move on to some more spotted hyena stuff, I want to talk about the Dogman connection.
Okay.
Especially Michigan, Wisconsin.
Yeah. Oh, I could see a lot of overlap here.
People, when we did the Michigan Dogman stuff, we talked about this big hyena, this massive hyena. It was supposed to be like 4.5 foot tall at the shoulder. Mm-hmm. Walked out and just stared this car down and kept walking. I don't think that's biologically out of the range. Specifically, we're talking about the species of hyena that was left here and the ones that were brought here and are breeding and stuff like that.
Right, they're keeping those genes alive.
Yeah.
The ancient ones.
The big, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Because you could always have one that skips like generations, like an old gene that reappears.
It happens in gray wolves.
Okay.
There's I can't remember what it was, but everybody sees that massive black gray wolf that crosses the road in the snow.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, this is a dire wolf. It's not a dire wolf. It is a gray wolf. It is a genetic recess that makes them massive.
Yeah. So imagine it's not believable for a big hyena to do it.
Yeah.
That's scary. If that's out there.
But this could be explaining a lot of Dogman sightings.
Yeah.
That you see this massive thing, and maybe they are standing up on their hind legs for just a second to look up.
Right, because we don't know how they act different in the forest. I mean.
Yeah. So, and they're looking up and then they hop down. But when they run, they look more humanoid because they have these big honking shoulders because their shoulders are so high raised. You could see shoulder blades. You can't see that in canids. You can't see that hardly in bears.
Mm-mm.
On these hyenas, they have big shoulder blades. And you see them, and they have these giant crests of bone for their muscle.
Right, yeah.
They literally will rip the guts out of animals. And they're scavengers, too. How much roadkill is here in the U.S.?
Oh, everywhere. You can't go a mile, at least where we're from, without seeing something.
And hyenas are extremely secretive animals.
Yeah, they're going to sneak in.
They're incredibly intelligent, too. So here's the thing with pet hyenas. So anything? Oh, sorry. Before I move on to that, Dogman connection. What else you got?
Oh, I like this idea. A remnant old hyena species. This genes pop up. It's a big one just roaming the woods. If I seen that, I mean, who's to say it's obviously weird, and you already got the Dogman in the psyche of those areas. You could easily say there's Dogman.
I think a lot of cryptids from around, especially the northern hemisphere specifically, and even some of the southern hemisphere, are Ice Age relics.
Yeah,
because if you looked at Ice Age animals, they're monsters.
All of them, pretty much.
We don't think of the African ones as monsters because they didn't go extinct.
Imagine living in those times.
No, there's a great documentary called When We Met Monsters. It's about that.
Yeah, I mean, how?
Imagine the megalania coming into your campfire at night, eating your villagers as it wants to lay in your fire.
I just mean compare that human being.
Short-faced bears. There was literally a short-faced bear would murder a Bigfoot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And there's I can't remember, Memphis Black, I think is the name of the artist that did a really good painting.
I think he showed me that.
Of a Bigfoot. It's called Final Moments.
Yeah.
Where this old Bigfoot is meeting a short-faced bear, and it's not good for the Bigfoot.
No, yeah.
But
man.
if we believe in Bigfoot, which we do, but if we believe in the biological Bigfoot, and you think they can be secret enough to hide, and we think they're a lot more intelligent than probably these hyenas.
Yeah.
But these hyenas are known to be incredibly secretive in small numbers.
Mm-hmm. It's intelligent,
And they were considered a rare occurrence in Europe when they were still native, when they were still alive. They were considered to be a rare sight.
It's like that story, that big cat you always tell about with the tracker on it. Once it knows, if it doesn't want to be found, you ain't going to see it. And
then, unlike cats and stuff like that, there is a little bit of pack knowledge.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of that shared knowledge. I think some of the Dogman stuff is this. Not all the Dogman stuff.
Right.
I think some Dogman stuff, specifically these hunched over ones, because a Hyena Dogman is type 9 or something like that. I can't remember.
There's a lot of Dogman types. But this could just be an actual biological creature. Just a straight up creature of nature that people are seeing that are, what's the word? Applying it to just the Dogman idea or just, other Dogman accounts. This could just be a real thing that just lives out there. That's a hyena. That you see it, it's big. That's Dogman because it makes a lot more sense than giant hyena.
I mean, they're 5 foot, 6 foot long.
Yeah.
And 3 to 4 foot tall at the shoulder.
Yeah, and it's not technically,
it's a bear.
You don't think it's supposed to be there.
It's a bear that looks more like a man.
Yeah, so I could see it being like Dogman. Yeah, because bear-like, but it's also very dog-like,
All right, so I have a fun little questionnaire by Cody Oskity, PhD.
Okay.
So he was just answering questions that people were asking about hyenas.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was kind of a fun little one.
Yeah.
And he's a hyena biologist. He specializes in hyenas.
So here's your little science more tidbit for the show.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about the funny thing with hyenas at the very end.
Yeah. We got to get to that. It's my favorite part.
And then first question he has, this was somebody asked him, are hyenas in the U.S.? And he states, I lived in North and Northeast Africa. I've lived in the Middle East, and I lived in Asia. I've lived all the way to the southern Siberia. Hyenas can adapt to almost any habitat that are found in grasslands, woodlands, savannas, forest edge, subdeserts, and mountains as high as 13,000 feet or 4,000 meters.
So there you go.
Yeah, he was saying that he's lived in all these areas researching.
They all had hyenas.
And they didn't, but he is a researcher for hyenas in Africa, but he's like, they could live in all these environments I've lived in.
Yeah.
He's like, everywhere I've lived in my life, there's nowhere there couldn't not be hyenas.
Gotcha. And everywhere in America has those environments.
Yeah. So he says, so the next question, were there hyenas in North America? He adds that, yes, there was an extinct hyena that probably never ran into humans. The beast went extinct in North America between, 1 million and 500,000 years ago, like we talked about, long before humans arrived in North America. Today, there are only 4 living species of hyena, 3 bone-crushing species, and the ant-eating aardwolf. If anybody's never seen an aardwolf, look them up.
I've never seen an aardwolf.
Aardvark wolf.
Should I look it up now?
Yeah, they're endangered because people kill them because they think they're hyenas.
Okay.
They are in the hyena family, but they eat termites.
Oh, okay, like an aardvark.
Yeah.
Or is that what I'm thinking of?
Yes. That's why they're called aardwolves.
Okay, yeah, they do look kind of like hyenas.
They are hyenas. I mean, they're in the hyena family.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, they're kind of cute.
And then the next question is, people love them. The Lion King TV show.
Uh-huh.
I was watching it with Harper, and they had a whole thing of aardwolves. And like, because the Argos are getting chased out of the Pride lands. He's like, why are people so mean to us? He's like, because you guys look like hyenas. I'm like, we don't look like hyenas. And he looked at him. And he's like, oh, I see it. Anyway, so where do hyenas live? Is his next question. Hyenas are widespread and found in almost all habitats. Spotted hyenas are found in all habitats, including savanna, grasslands, woodlands, forest, and even mountaintops. Can hyenas breed with dogs? So, no, they can't.
Is that his answer?
Yeah, it's just, he gives a really long thing that we don't need to really go into.
Okay.
Just explaining what we've already talked about.
Long story short, no.
Yeah, they can't. Do hyenas laugh? The laughter vocalization, which is known as a high-pitched series of short giggle-like sounds, these sounds are rather being associated with hyenas having a good time, are generally made when they are threatened or under attack. The hyenas may also produce this laughter-like sound when they are frustrated.
Okay.
Hyenas make this is me talking now. Hyenas make an extremely wide variety of sounds. And I think some of these, if we believe that some of these guys are existing in North America, hidden, I think that could be some Sasquatch stuff.
Could be.
When you don't see a Sasquatch,
and you
hear stuff.
It could be Sasquatch, could be Dogman sounds, it could be any cryptid out there.
There's a big pantheon of cryptids.
Good nomenclature.
And then someone even asked, did lions live in North America? And he's like, yeah, lions actually lived all the way up until recent times. Most scientists put them at going extinct only 10,000 years ago in North America.
Which means they're probably still here in pockets. Like,
I don't think that the cave lion is, because they were massive. They're tiger-sized.
Okay.
And I just think we'd see more evidence of them. But maybe not. I mean,
there's still, I'm sure, places humans haven't
especially in
walked.
Canada.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly.
So any Ice Age mammal could still exist in Canada, like mammoths. And then, are there any zoos that have hyenas? Yes, there are. Fort Worth, Boise, Living Desert, Nepal, Safari West, Denver, Wildlife World, Utica, and San Diego all have some of some of the best habitats and hyenas on display.
Okay.
Yeah, and then can hyenas survive in North America? Hyenas must have ran across through the Pacific Northwest and the Great Plains to reach their hunts through the North America. So yeah. Do hyenas eat humans? Nonetheless, both hyenas, the spotted and their smaller striped hyenas, are powerful predators quite capable of easily killing an adult human. They are known to attack people when food is scarce, but will often avoid conflict with humans if it's not necessary.
Right. I can imagine
There's a video of a lady in Africa literally has a bucket of water in her head walking through a pack of hyenas.
Really?
And they're all kind of like giggling. So I think they, like I just said, that's a threatened sound where they were scared of her.
Yeah. Huh. Wow.
So yeah, spotted hyenas live to be about 22 years in human care.
Oh, sweet.
So yeah, and hyenas, so what do hyenas eat? Hyenas eat pretty much everything. They're one of the savviest carnivores around, though. They love to intimidate animals off of prey. They are not above scavenging. Most spotted hyenas, their only predator are lions, and most time they only battle lions over prey disputes. Apart from lions, though, spotted hyenas are only really killed by humans and leopards. But the lion's number one predator is hyenas.
Right, yep. Because what's going after lions? Nothing.
The hyenas.
Except these guys.
So yeah, and then my last two. Hyenas, are they friendly? What do you think the answer to this is?
I'd say maybe yes and no. Like, probably no, but if you raise it from a cub, then I'm sure you can domesticate them, to an extent.
So hyenas are actually extremely loyal animals, lifelong friends. Based on 20 years of field observation, biologists found that hyenas make friends pretty much the same way humans do. They seek out friends for their friendship. There is a couple examples of humans being bonded with these animals. It is not recommended.
Yeah.
A bite from these, they will remove anything they bite.
Yeah.
And then once again, our hyenas more closely related to dogs or cats. They're more closely related to cats.
How cool did Teddy have to feel having this pet hyena?
He'd punch it and stuff like that. He'd wrestle with it.
Yeah, jeez. I want to be that cool. I wish I could. I mean, our quail aren't that intimidating, but it's a little different having it.
So, Now this is the time to turn down your car radio.
Oh
If
yeah.
you got kids in the car,
Just let them save this for when they're a little older, or unless you just want them to learn about Mother Nature and biology.
so hyenas are the hardest mammal, including whales, to sex.
Mm-hmm.
Because the female hyena has a fake pseudopenis that gets erect like a male's penis, and the female will often penetrate the male for dominance.
Jeez.
It looks 100% just like a penis. It doesn't do anything besides molest the males.
Yeah. For dominance.
It is so weird. And there's an ancient biologist, and I'm using the term biologist very loosely, like Greek, that first experienced a hyena in Africa and was talking about these abominations, that they were hermaphrodites.
Yeah.
And they weren't really hermaphrodites, but he would find this thing that was nursing cubs and gave them birth that had a big penis.
Yeah, right. I mean, and it was a pseudo hermaphrodite, right?
It's not real. It's not a real thing. Like, it's not like a functional organ.
No, right.
So it's not. It's a pseudopenis, is what it's called,
Right.
because it doesn't do anything.
So that's
Nothing
why,
comes out of it. Nothing. It's not for reproduction.
that's why it's a pseudo hermaphrodite.
They think that it's mainly just for dominance, because almost all these cultures, almost all these big packs of hyenas, are ran by the females.
What kind of like evolutionary tract?
I don't
had to
know.
Lead to that?
That's why I don't believe in the whole theory of evolution.
Right. Yeah.
These are one of the,
yeah, exactly. Or covert evolution led to this.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. You can't make a storyline that would evolve the fleshy lips around the reproductive organs to grow and harden into a giant pseudopenis to molest the males into dominance.
I don't know. I think the way society's going nowadays,
Yeah, but we built prosthetics for that.
it may be happening. Yeah, pretty soon we won't need prosthetics. It's gonna just be like that.
But in nature, like, I don't get it.
I think that's when the fireballs came down from the sky and
Like,
the flood
it's time
happened.
to restart. No, don't let any hyenas on the ark.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. But
Yeah.
yeah, it happens. Look it up. I Googled it, and that's one of the first pictures that pops up. It's like,
And you may not believe me. My own father didn't believe me, and then he looked it up, and there was a video of a female. It was just destroying these males, but she was also like grabbing their necks and like tearing flesh and
yeah,
then
like you're getting
humping
this.
them and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah. That's craziness.
it's just for dominance.
yeah,
But
obviously.
there are a few packs of hyenas that are ran by males. So that's what most biologists kind of get with, is that it's just for whoever wins.
Yeah.
So the females need the same weaponry
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
because they have the same chance of running the pack.
Right.
Females just generally tend to be bigger.
Mm-hmm.
That's across most nature.
Right. That's true.
They're bearing children. They're actually developing children.
Right. And the males just usually look pretty,
I mean, across nature, yeah.
Mhm.
So that's
like
been
peacocks.
the hyenas of Kentucky.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Hopefully, Sean, you enjoyed this
Yeah,
episode.
yeah. Thanks for submitting.
Even though it's a
account.
full-length episode, I thought it was going to be short.
Yeah, it's a full one.
But no, I thought it was interesting that the amount of back information was in this. I know the stories were really quick because most people are just like, yeah, I was driving and I seen a hyena. Just like Sean's story. Like, yeah,
Right,
because that's
it's a
what
minute
happened.
long.
Like, there's no guessing. It's not the Bigfoot. There's no... You
I
look
saw
up...
a hyena.
I type in hyena. That's what I seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you seen a hyena. I mean, that's pretty straightforward.
You ain't alone.
So we looked it up. There were hyenas released into North America.
Yeah.
Whether the government will report it or not, I'll tell you, a lot of hyenas got released.
Yeah,
Because they were really common household pets. Yeah, it's crazy to say, but they were, including the president having one.
Exactly.
Two, they're gone.
It's gone. They don't. They're not here.
They've never been here.
Yeah. We know how that is.
And I kind of wonder,
like the
specifically,
bones.
we didn't talk about this. We'll do maybe another episode on it in the future. Texas has them. Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma sees a lot of hyenas, and they have a lot of stuff that they blame, quote unquote, the chupacabra on. I wonder if it's hyenas.
Could be. Yeah. Could be.
Even cow mutilations, I think maybe hyenas.
Very well could be. Yeah.
Do you remember see that video? And I know we're about to end, but the video of the hyena getting into the elephant carcass.
I don't think so.
It went right up the butthole.
Oh, okay. No
It, like
shame.
literally went in the head, shoulders, right into the butthole and started pulling organs out that way. It didn't break any skin.
No shame.
But I'm just saying, what are cattle mutilations?
Yeah.
Mouth, butthole.
Butthole. You're right. Little hyenas.
No, I mean, big hyena is just very aggressive.
Aggressive hyenas.
All right, I've been the great and powerful Mr. E.
And I've been Clone 12J.
Have a good day, guys. Bye. Thank you for listening to Crypts of the Corn podcast.
Please share with a friend you think would like us. It's the best way to help our show grow.
Leave a comment, rate us, a 5-star review, and remember, there is always extra content on Patreon/cryptsofthecorn.com.
And don't forget, stay magical.
The following is a message from the future, sent by Jamie from Progressive.
Back in 2023, you could get help from Progressive online, through our mobile app, or over the phone. But here, in the future, you'll be able to chat with us from space. Maybe you're asking, why are you spending time on insurance in space? Shouldn't you be sculpting something out of moon rocks, or jumping around with no gravity? Insurance seems more like a back on Earth kind of thing, right? Actually, in the future, space is no big deal. Errands are totally appropriate.
That was a message from the future. Get the help you need today with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers.